While he stood waiting at the edge of the pavement, the early evening commuters forced their way into well-worn tracks, jostling to stay in their grooves. Around the commotion, dusk was settling into its comfortable chair. A gentle rain fell onto his face and into his matted hair, making stars amidst the black briar tangles. He looked down at his aging jeans, catching the glittering raindrops on their fraying fabric. Headlights dazzled him, casting sparks off the relucent road. Feeling his teeth with his tongue, half expecting to find something not quite right, something altered in their usual form, he glanced over to a puddle near a shop door. He wasn't certain, but at first he thought he could discern a face in the surface of the water. He went back to his teeth, but the image wouldn't leave him. He tried to distract himself with his watch. Looking into the glass on his wrist, he saw, very faint but quite clear, a translucent smile. Not a reflection of his own mouth, but a soft, nymph-lipped pout. It seemed to shape a word before descending into the depths of time. Feeling a bit befuddled and mildly muddled, he moved from the roadside to the shop front. A second-hand clothes store, filled with the garments of dead people and the outgrown or outmoded discarded suits of society. He felt an affiliation with the clothes in this shop. He tried to dispel the magic in his thoughts by straining to look at the spines of the few books inside, which the shop would never sell. Pressing his hand-cupped eye to the vitreous partition to get a better view, he was startled once again by a diaphanous visage, distinguishable among the folds of fabric as that of a woman. He looked behind him just to make sure that it wasn't a trick of the light, and merely the likeness of a passer-by caught in the street lamp's flash. No one there besides the multitude on their way to nowhere. He closed his eyes and turned to face the shop. This time there would be no stranger beyond the rainy window. Tentatively lifting his lids, he let the light play its tune on his retina, a soft, sulky song. Blinking away a tear, he peered into the shop. Not a soul. Unaware that he was holding it captive, he let his breath escape at last. It cast itself onto the glass and settled as a mist. Instinctively, he reached out a fingertip to smudge his name on the dewy canvas. In the moisture, before he could deface it, a now familiar physiognomy began to form. Half wanting to wipe it away, his hand hovered in a wave. The water face was looking at him with wet, wistful eyes. Its mouth, as before, opened slightly as if in utterance of a sound. Unable to make out if the water face was speaking to him, he turned his ear in towards it. Touch. The noise of a car on tar, the swish of trouser legs, a puddle being dispersed by a foot. Touch. None of these. A voice, a woman's voice, light like fog but capable of soaking to the bone. Touch. Uncertain of what to do, he gave a questioning look to the window. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. If you want to join me, just touch me. I feel your uncertainty. I feel the effort in you. I know how you struggle to keep your head above water. There is little that you want, except for love and understanding. I can take you to a place where you will have those things. But the word hung on his tongue, blocking the flow of the rest of the sentence. Just touch me, and you won't have to swim against the current any more. I can wash away your worries and cares. Okay, stop talking in water metaphors. But how do you know me? Where have you come from? He checked to make sure no one else was listening to him. Nobody cared enough to listen. In your mother's womb, the water-face whispered, you had a twin sister. You shared your birth fluid with her as you grew from a cluster to an embryo, but she didn't develop as you did, and was absorbed back into the water around you. When you were born, this water was let loose and spread throughout the streams and rivers, and seas and oceans and ice and rain and snow of the whole world. All throughout your life, this special water has been coming together, drop by drop, to rejoin its brother, you. So you're my sister, is that what you're saying? Yes. He tried to contain himself. He didn't know whether to laugh at absurdity or cry from sentimentality. It does seem absurd, she concurred. All I have to do is touch you, and what? I'll be transported to another world, one where I won't feel like an outsider, and isolated, and constantly in need of attention, yet spurning all those who want to give it to me. Will it be like Alice through the looking glass, and I'll fall through the window into the land of Narnia or something? He was aware that he had mixed two stories, but this was how he chose to express his incredulity. No need for sarcasm, said the water face. If you don't believe me, don't touch me. But if you don't touch me soon, you might not get another chance. I'm beginning to dissipate. It's so hard, he said. I want to go, or come, or whatever, but it's a hard decision to make. Can't you tell me any more about where I might end up? Waterface paused. Am I not enough to tempt you to a new place? I'm your sister, your twin, your true other half. Only I know you and love you. Together we will be one. Is that not reason enough to trust me? I don't know, he replied. Well, if you don't know, then no one else ever can, retorted the Waterface, who was beginning to ebb. You must hurry, time and tide and all that. He could see that as the condensation from his breath evaporated, the Waterface became fainter and fainter. Not got much to lose, I suppose, he said with resignation. I love you, said the Waterface. I love you too, he said in an undertone. He raised his right hand, and with the most tender touch, let his finger meet with the Waterface's lips. He didn't feel anything at first, no crashing through to another world. Then, slowly, it started. It was as the Waterface had said. He felt all of his cares cascading out of him, and feelings of hope and belonging flooding into him. All of the tension in his body seemed to be soothed away, liquefied and dripped into new buckets, pails of insignificance. For the first time in ages, he was becoming totally relaxed, like ice on a hot plate, going from firm to flaccid. Soon it was as though his clothes were somebody else's, so loose about his person did they feel. He no longer felt the rain on his face, nor was he bothered how wet he was getting. All he wanted was to be with his sister, his twin. The next morning, as Mary was reaching into her pocket for the keys, she noticed a pile of tatters by the door, sodden and sad. I do wish people would put their donations in plastic bags and not leave them in puddles outside the shop,